What's going on, y'all? My name is CamThaKid. This is a Young Thug beat type tutorial heavily inspired by his brand new album, No, My Name is Jeffrey. I love the beats on this album. I've been listening to it crazy nonstop since it came out. A lot of different style beats. I liked how there were so many different bass slides. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's something that really caught my attention. The 808 glides all over the place, and some real cool ethnic feeling things like that. So this kind of a tropical ethnic feeling, maybe like the Wyclef songs, inspired beat. So I'll get right into it and I will play it. If you guys like it, stick around, learn how to make it. Alright, so that's the beat. If you're feeling it, stick around, learn how to make it. So, first things first, as always with my drum kits, with my beats, there's a drum kit available for purchase at www.camthakid.com. It's called the Jeffrey drum kit, and it's going to come with some cool different sounds. It's got the kick, the clap, trans, open hat, perk. It's a cheap little drum kit. It's going to come with these 3 Nexus presets, which I use in the beat, and 2 Electra X presets. They'll come both in expansion form, so just like any other expansions you get for those plugins, you'll install them the same way, open them right up, which I'll show you once we get into the beat. But, if you, whether you want to make this particular beat with me or not, they're kind of cool sounds. It's a cheap drum kit. Go head over there and pick that up if you want to add some extra sounds to your bank. And if you don't want to purchase drum kit, that's cool. I'm going to show you how I made all the sounds, and you can go ahead and work off your own sounds. Getting right into it, I'll show you how I made this main melody. And I emphasize the fact that I'm going to be showing you guys how to tweak these mixers, these mixer tracks, which a lot of beat tutorials I see on YouTube, they don't show you, they don't go in depth. They kind of tell you, okay, I use this sound from my Nexus preset bank or something like that. And they don't edit the sound at all. And that's because they went into Nexus, like this one right here, for example. They tweaked all these things to make it sound unique and exactly the way they wanted it to sound. And then they sell it to you. You plug it into your EQ and everything, and it sounds good already. And that's cool and all, but if you're just learning how to make beats and stuff like that, then you might struggle making your own sounds. And you're never going to succeed in this business if you don't know how to be original, if you don't know how to make your own sounds. And such a huge part of being a producer is going to be learning how to EQ and also be your own engineer, because you don't want to always have to pay engineer fees and things like that. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. First things first, we got this main little riff going on. These are the muted guitars. So to get this sound, all you're going to do, if you did purchase drum kit, is you're going to go to channels, go to Nexus, CamThaKid Jeffrey, and it's going to be the plucked muted guitars. You're going to select those. And if you don't buy the drum kit, look for your own plucked muted guitars. They might sound something like this. This is how mine sounded before I EQ'd them and everything. So it kind of sounds like a Toys R Us piano or something. And I panned it to the right a little bit. But this is why I keep emphasizing the fact that you need to learn how to EQ and you need to work with your effects, because that is gonna how you that's really gonna be how you stand out as a producer. So to get this sound, I threw on an EQ. I really cut the lows. I cut a little bit of the highs. I threw on a reverb. This is the simple fruity reverb. All you do is you go in here, fruity reverb, and all I ever do is I adjust this knob. So I dropped it down to 5%. You know, so you just throw the reverb on. That's going to give it an effect. And then the biggest thing was I added delay. This is a custom delay set that I've made. You can go ahead and copy it. If you need to, pause the video and make it all these settings. Save it as a preset if you want to. Keep using it. It's a good delay. And all you do is you select fruity delay and then you tweak the knobs and everything to make it sound like this. And again, that's the Nexus Pluck Muted guitars if you're working alongside me with the drum kit. And that's our main sound. And then our second sound, I'm going to skip around here a little bit. Our second most emphasized sound in this beat is going to be our bass line. And I have a few different bass lines going on, but this is going to be the main 808 that's going to be gliding all over the place, making all kinds of cool sounds. And I'm sure that's the first thing you guys heard and you're like, oh damn, that's a cool sound. Yep. So I'm going to show you how I make that real quick. First of all, the 808 is going to be really sloppy if you get it in the drum kit. It's going to come like this. Like all your 808s come in drum kits. They're not tuned, nothing like that. Excuse me. So you're going to pull in the 808. You're going to click it. You're going to go to instrument. You're going to drag down the attack just a little bit. So there's just a little bit off. You're going to extend the hold, drag down the decay, drag down the sustain, and drag down the release. You're going to create this shape. And that's going to make it so whenever you let go of the key, it kills the 808. So it's not riding out through the whole song. And then it's also going to be pretty flat without the EQ. So again, you're going to add it to a mixer track. And I threw on the distortion. It's a custom setting, so go ahead and add the fruity fast distortion. And you can copy my settings. Again, pause the video if you need to. Copy these settings. Parametric EQ, I just cut the highs, cleans it up a lot. A limiter, that's how you sidechain with the 808. I'm not going to get into sidechaining in this video. It's pretty easy to do. Just simply look up on YouTube how to sidechain if you want to learn how to do that. And I might get into it in another video. And then compressor. And all I did was I selected the fruity compressor, right click, drums. And all that's going to do is it's going to make your 808 hit a little bit harder. So those are our two main sounds from this beat. That's going to be this main melody we got and the 808 pattern. And it's important to add these slide notes. That's how you're getting all these glides. So let's look at this part. See that part right there? That's going to be, all you're going to do is you're going to make these notes. You're going to make this note, and then you're going to slide it down an octave. Actually, 2 octaves in this case. And what you're going to do to get that slide effect, instead of having it just like another one of these notes, you're going to click up here, this little slide button, and that's going to make it a slide note. And you're going to add that in here. And that's how you're going to get your slides. And there's a few different ones because I wanted to glide around the young thug sounds. There's another one. There's one. There's one. Another one. Take a second to look at this. Mimic this. See, I adjusted the volume at the different points. And that's just going to be, because sometimes when you go way up here in octaves and with the 808s, it's going to get like ridiculously loud, especially with this particular 808. So I got it dropped in volume a little bit. Moving on to sound number 2, it's another bass line. This is going to come in for the end of the verse and also the chorus, and it's just another bass line. It's playing the same exact thing as our 808, so all you gotta do is copy and paste that. I think it's an octave lower, so you drag it an octave down, but it's the and this is going to be the Nexus soft bass. So if you purchase drum kit, all you're going to do is you're going to go to channel Nexus CamThaKid Jeffrey soft bass, add that. And as for the mixer presets, just throw an EQ on it, cut off the highs. Again, you're going to want an EQ on just about every track in your entire beat because that's going to clean and tighten everything up for you. So you don't have all these excess noises going on, overlapping, making your track sound all muddy. It's going to come out way more clear. You're going to sound way more professional instantly just by adding EQs and cutting the highs and lows. So that's the bass line. It's just a lower sub bass basically. So if you don't buy the drum kit, you're going to just look for some sort of sub bass in Nexus, like you might go into bass and pick like the basic sign and tweak it a little bit. Number 3, this is our kick. Simple kick pattern. It's just a bouncy kick. It's simple, that all the way throughout the entire beat. It's going to come sounding like this. And all you're going to do is you're going to add it. You're going to assign it to a mixer track, just like everything else. You're going to select it, go to your mixer, right-click and open track, right-click, link selected channels to this track, just like with every other sound. And again, with the EQ, cut the highs. That's going to cut all that extra noise out. Cut the lows a little bit because you want your kick to hit in this upper bass, lower mid-range so it doesn't overlap with your 808, which I was just showing you the 808. Going to the 808 EQ, that's going to be mainly your lows. And that shows you why you want your EQs tweaked, so you don't have sounds overlapping each other. Then we got a clap. I got 2 different clap patterns. This is the 4th. And you got your clap, your young chop snare, and your trap snare. And they're all just different, overlapping, things like that. Pretty simple pattern. Again, in the EQ, your main clap, it's going to be our loudest clap. I didn't even bother with an EQ or anything on that one because I liked how it sounded. Young chop snare, add an EQ, I cut the lows out of it, and then your trap snare, didn't do anything to it. But key point is adjusting the volumes so they're not, so you have an emphasis on this main clap, because this clap right here that hits on every one of these gray notes, that's going to be basically, that's how the rapper's going to stay on beat, by following that clap. So you want that to hit particularly hard. And then the pattern just switches up a little bit for the second part of the verse. Just added this extra clap here. Give it a little more bounce, a little more versatility out of your beat. That's so pattern 4, pattern 5, pattern 4, pattern 5, and it's going to be like that throughout the entire beat. 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Then we got our perks. These are going to basically just be like bongos. This one is going to be percussion 27. So you're going to add it. You're going to play it on those notes. Again with the EQ. Cut the lows, cut the highs. It's a very subtle sound, but it gives it more of that islander ethnic feel. And then bongo. A key point to note out of this one is the volume is moving around. It gives it a more realistic drum sound, less synth sounding. Because you can imagine if you're just playing, it doesn't sound realistic, because what's the reality of you hitting a drum the same level of hardness every time. So when people play the drums, they hit the drum harder and softer at different points of the song, basically. So that's what all these volume curves are doing. Basically, these perks are going to come in for the second part of the verse, and that's it for those last 16 bars, and then they'll drop for the chorus. I already showed you the 808 with all the glides. I showed you how to tune the 808, all that good stuff. The hi-hats, it's a pretty simple hi-hat pattern. I usually like to go kind of crazy with my hi-hats. I think it makes the beat sound a lot more trappy, but that's one thing I noticed about this Young Thug album. There wasn't a lot going on with the hi-hats. They kind of they let the bass and the melodies do most of the work. And of course, Young Thug's voice is his own melody, so, that right there alone makes the beats not need to be as crazy because you got his voice adding an element to it. It's like Party Next Door, dude. That guy uses some of the most simple, plain beats in the world. No offense I know Murda makes a lot of his beats, and that's all he needs because his voice is so crazy. He could add so many different melodies, so he doesn't need a complex beat. It's not like, Gucci Mane or Waka rapping over a track in like a monotone or even like a Waka screaming voice where it's not really pleasing to the ear, so you got to have a good beat behind it. Sometimes these more auto-tune melodic rappers, the beat is more simple because their voice is adding extra melodic element to the beat. So off on that tangent to the hi-hat. An important part to note with this hi-hat, if you did get the drum kit and you're following along with me, when you drag it in, it's going to sound like this. And we want it to sound like that. Basically, you're going to add the EQ and really just focus in on these waves around this 5K mark. And that's going to clean it up a lot. It's going to make it sound more high-pitched. This comes in, there's a little choir. That's going to be the Nexus soft choir pad. And the Electra X Dreams pad. And basically that's going to come in at the end of the second verse when this original melody, this one right here, when that Islander melody drops, it's going to this. It just adds variation to the beat. And they're both playing the same thing on the keys. Just these chords. I'll show you the mixer presets. So for the soft choir pad, Nexus got this EQ just cutting the lows and the highs. And for the Electra X, got an EQ cutting the lows and the highs. Reverb, same fruity reverb, drag it up to 18%. Parametric EQ, just cut the lows, raise this mid a little bit. Simple. It's not difficult. Doesn't need to be difficult to make it sound unique. Make it your own sounds, guys. Then I got this 10th sound. This is just same chords, but this time dragged out. This is going to be, if you're playing along with me, the Dreams pad 2. It's just a pad. It's very subtle. Got some reverb on it, up to 50%, and the parametric EQ to cut the lows. And this is just going to add extra noise for the chorus to make your beat sound more full. You're always building up to the chorus, so you don't want the chorus to be flat once you get there. This is going to fill it all out, make it sound more professional. And then open hat. I love open hats. Basically, I like to layer them like this too, move around the keyboard so it's not just a boring, like some beats. I mean, it's okay for some beats, but I think it sounds way cooler if you go up and down the keyboard cyclically. and it just adds to the beat, adds bounce to the beat. And then last but not least, we have a cymbal transition. That's just going to be this sound. And all I did was drop the volume of it so it's not so harsh on the ears. Play it on the second gray note. It's going to come in right here on the bar. Every 16 bars, it's going to come in basically before the beat switches up. It's going to come in before the verse drops. It's going to come in the middle of the verse. Then it's going to come in before the chorus drops. Then it's going to come in before the verse drops, and, repeat, so on. Add variation to the beat. Trap crash. It's just sorry. It's just a basic trap crash. That's how it's going to come in the drum kit. You're going to add it to its own channel and, of course, lower the volume because it's very damn loud. And that's it, guys. I thank you for sticking around with me. Oh, my bad. I'm going to show you guys how to master. Again, if you've followed along with me this entire time and you've been working on these mixer tracks, I promise you, if you go and you use something like eMastered or any of the various automated mastering programs out there, this beat will come out sounding good. Because a master is only as good as a mix. So that's why I'm showing you guys how to create these sounds, because if you don't know how to mix, your beats are never going to sound good. They're never going to sell. I promise you that. That's something that I was lacking for so long, and it's just something you really got to work hard on, learning how to mix, and your mix is going to say a lot about your beat. It's going to really, people are going to hear your mix and they're going to be like, oh, this is a good mix. This guy must be professional. You might have never sold a beat in your life, but if it's mixed and mastered well, it's going to sound professional. And you might sell a beat every damn day, and if you got a shitty mix, the beat is not going to sell, I promise. So the master, I threw on an EQ. Most vocalists they're going to have a lot of sound going on here. So if you got too much noise around here between the vocalist and the beat, it's going to overlap. It's not going to sound crisp. It's not going to sound clear. So this is something if you don't necessarily need to worry about. The vocalist, when he's recording, would need to worry about this. But, you want to be the best producer that you can be. You're going to go ahead and do this for him. We're going to drop the mids a little bit, clean it up, so when they go ahead and layer their voice over the beat, it's going to fit right in a lot more snug with no overlapping. Again, we don't need these extra sounds, so what you're going to do, you're going to add an EQ. You're going to right-click 40 hertz to 18,000 hertz cut. Simple. Done. That's going to make it sound a lot cleaner. You might not notice on your laptop or on your studio monitors, maybe your headphones, but if you go to a professional studio, you're going to notice these extra sounds flowing around. You want to really clean them up if you can. Add a compressor. It's a basic fruity compressor. All you do is you add either Optomaster or Master 1. Both of them are pretty good. I think on this one I used Optomaster. And it's going to just make the beat a little bit louder, hit a little harder. Multiband compressor, this is one of my favorite plugins. And all you got to do is right-click and add mastering 2.4 decibels. It's going to make the beat a lot louder. It's going to sound way cleaner. I love that plugin. Maximus, this is going to make a big difference. And all you're going to do is you're going to add Maximus to the master. You're going to right-click. You're going to go to Master Aid. And then you're going to add this post a little bit. You don't want to do too much, because then you're going to be peaking. You're going to have your sound is going to be way too much. Everybody thinks louder is better. Louder is not always better. Sometimes you want to leave room. You're going to want to leave room for the rapper who's going to buy the beat. You're going to want to leave room for the engineer who's hopefully going to touch on it once the vocals have been added. So that will just make it a little bit louder. It will make it sound better. I like to add this final EQ UO preset, and basically you're going to raise these lower mids and lows. That's going to be your kick. I'll show you in a minute here. You're going to drop the mids. This is where the vocals are going to be for the most part. And you're going to raise the claps and snares. And you're going to lower all this back end muddiness. And this is going to, of course, you want to tailor this to every beat. But with this beat specifically, this is how I've got it set up. But this is a super good plugin for you to use when mastering, because it's basically a multi-band EQ. And you can go through and you can customize the EQ for all the different wave levels. So here's how it sounds with the EQ. You could take a look at it. See, the kick is hitting here. These are 808s, the 2 pounds, so they're not overriding everything. The mids, 2 down, so the vocals fit in. And then your claps and your snare. And that makes a big difference to the beat. Really cleans it up. Here's the beat without it. Way cleaner. I love that. And then last but not least, we got a limiter on here. You add Fruity Limiter. You're going to right click. You're going to go to max loudness and bring this down because, again, too loud is not better. Just loud enough is perfect. And that's it, guys. Thank you for sticking around. I don't even know how long this thing was. This is my first beat making tutorial, but I do plan on making more. Like I said, as always, the drum kit is available on www.camthakid.com under the drum kit section. It's called Jeffrey. And if you want to make this beat alongside me, pick up this drum kit. All the sounds royalty free. Like I said, it's got these Nexus sounds, got the Electra X presets, and you know, you need the Electra X and Nexus VSTs to use them. But even if you don't have those, it does come with some extra cool wave drum kits. And that's it, guys. If you like the beat, you can go ahead and download it. It is available also on my website. If you're a rapper and you want to use the beat, download tagged version. If you want the lease, there will be an untagged version available for purchase. And that's it. You want to buy it exclusively, contact me. But that's not really what these beats are for. They're mainly for helping the younger producers out there who don't know so much about the game. Myself, I'm always watching beat making videos. I love them. And I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there who also are pretty good at making your own beats, but you like just hanging around learning how to make different types of beats and things like that. So thanks for tuning in, guys. That's it. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, comment below. Peace.